Welcome to the NBA Now and Then, 50, 40, 90 interview series.
Hey everybody, it's Uriah and Maurice from NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons. What's good, Maurice?
I'm good. What's up, Uriah?
Hey, I'm feeling great. We got a special guest today, but before we get into that, I must make sure I ask, please make sure that you follow our show on Apple and Spotify or wherever else you get your favorite podcast. Now let's get down to business. Today we have a special guest from our 50, 40, 90 interview series where we have comparisons with top-notch experts and personalities in the sports world, most times but not always exclusively related to hoops. With us for the show, we have one of the premier sports card podcasters from the show Sports Cards Nonsense, whose YouTube channel has over 7,000 subscribers, on Facebook over 220,000 members, and close to 1,000 Apple Podcast reviews. Numbers don't lie, folks. He and his co-host Jesse have one of the hottest podcasts out here. It is our pleasure and privilege to introduce Mike Gioseffi. What's up, Mike?
That's how you know we're old, by the way, when our Facebook crowd is big and YouTube is terrible. So there's the age giveaway right there. Old dude still rocking Facebook. I'm not changing.
Hey, I'm still getting used to Instagram. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I know Maurice is on all those, right?
Facebook, kind of, sort of. Listen, I grew up in the era of MySpace, so
yeah,
that's another tier.
Yeah, okay.
MySpace. Yeah, we're dating ourselves here. So
yeah, we are.
So just so you know, and Mike said that he checked out our stuff, which we appreciate. NBA Now and Then, yes. We do comparisons. But at the end of the day, Mike, we essentially kind of do the same thing. We focus on our favorite sports heroes, essentially celebrating the memories that they bring to us, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's roll.
All right. So my first question, Mike, has to do with our genre, which is basketball. I know you cover a lot of different sports cards, but let's talk about your introduction to basketball. Did you play? Did you go to basketball camp? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. As a young guy, especially like 8 to 12, real heavy in with the boys club back in Massachusetts. Haverhill, Mass, was where I grew up. So boys club, summer leagues, played intramurals up until high school. I think I played my freshman year, and that was about it for organized ball. And then play Tuesdays, Thursdays still. I'm trying to stay young. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, we have the 6 a.m. open gym run here in Nashville. So
get your cardio up, man.
So, Mike, when we get to a certain age when we play basketball, you're usually good at one thing on the court. Usually you can shoot, or you can play defense, you can rebound, or you're just a hack. What are you?
That is true. We do have some hacks. I used to be a real good outside shooter, but as I've gotten older, my legs I've had some knee issues over the years. So I'm a mid-range guy if I'm shooting. But yeah, my drive is still my best. I'm short. I'm only 5'7", but I've always been pretty wide. So the physicality of the drive has been pretty helpful for me. And then for whatever reason, the young guys can't get used to a left hand. It's the weirdest thing. You get 25-year-olds out there way better than I am, but you go left and it's like you're opening doors to them, so it's weird. So yeah, I've tried to kind of work on my finishing at the rim.
My question is, who's your squad? Who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite player?
Celtics. Yeah, I grew up just north of Boston my whole life. Moved down to Nashville when I got married 16 years ago. So yeah, grew up a Celtics fan. I just missed the heyday. Really missed the heyday by a couple years of Larry and that squad. But that's what we grew up idolizing. Like, weird enough, Bob Cousy, my favorite player of all time.
Okay.
That's his rookie card behind me. My nickname growing up was Cousy Legs because I was just this little runt, but I was super quick, so I was just running around like a maniac. And so I had a chance to send him his rookie card, and he autographed it and inscribed it Cousy Legs. So I sent him like a nice letter, hey, this was my nickname after you. But yeah, kind of grew up with the Bird, Bill Walton, McHale, Parrish, like on the tail end of that. And then Antoine and Pierce were kind of there, for most of my childhood.
Nice. Yeah, I see it right there next to the orange basketball. Is that it?
Yeah, there's Bird Magic there. There's a Bird Magic on the wall behind us, and a Russell and Chamberlain behind you.
Okay. Now, you have a pretty prolific, I guess when you look at your podcast, you have hundreds of episodes, and you focus on sports cards. I know between Maurice and myself, and Maurice has like a personal connection to sports card. I'll let him tell you that. But for me, I remember just being obsessed with football and basketball cards as a kid. You have displayed some of your favorite cards behind you, but who would you consider your first valuable sports card as a kid?
So weird enough, A-Rod. Growing up, A-Rod had a rookie from 1994, and this was quite a bit after that, though, probably around the year 2000 or right around then. He went to the Rangers. He was winning MVPs, before the PED stuff. And yeah, A-Rod, like I remember getting his rookie as kind of a young guy, and that was kind of a big deal. I couldn't afford the Griffey rookie, which is a super iconic card, but yeah, the A-Rod 1994 Upper Deck card was a big one for me growing up.
Now that was he started with Seattle, correct?
Yeah, came up with Seattle, him and Griffey together. Randy Johnson had the whole squad.
Wow,
yeah.
That's cool.
Then he got paid by Texas Rangers.
Then he got paid, huge money, and then he went to the Evil Empire, so that was the end of that for me. So I remember dumping all of his stuff. Like, as soon as he went to the Yankees, I was like, that's it. We're selling all the cards, get rid of everything.
Hard.
Don't want it in the house.
Ooh. So you're Boston all the way, all sports teams?
Yep.
Okay. So we got to learn a little bit about you. Tell us about your podcast, Sports Cards Nonsense. How did it get started?
Yeah, so we do a thing where, starting in like 2016, there's a thing in sports cards right now called breaking. It's literally like you set up an online card shop. You have like a webcam like you see. There'll be one focus on your desk and then one focus on the person themselves. And basically, people would come in out of your live stream and say, hey, I want you to rip this pack for me or rip a whole box or whatever. That really took off between 2016 and 2020. Then when COVID hit, I sold that business to a guy in California. And I was kind of like, hey, we'll kind of semi-retired. Just figured we'd do something else in a couple of years when something else caught my interest. So I started doing the podcast just out of boredom, honestly. There was nobody really making a ton of content. I feel like 2020 was the year podcasting just went nuts because everybody was home. Yeah. And so I just started doing the same thing. And goofy enough, I was literally doing it on Facebook Live because I had a huge audience on Facebook even back then. And my intro was, which would never work now because it was totally stolen. My intro was literally just Larry Bird greatest hits for 10 seconds, like a Larry Bird hit tape. And then I would just start to whatever rambling I was going to go on. And so, just started talking about the card market or, different topics in sports or in sports cards and kind of the overlap.
Yeah, Maurice and I, getting ready for this interview, we looked over some of your episodes, and the number one that stood out to both Maurice and I was the Michael Jordan episode, or at least the rookie card. And we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. But my question to you is, what would you say up to this date, and we're in July right now, what's the most memorable podcast episode that you and Jesse have recorded?
So early on, we started in January of 2021, and of course, we still are working for Bill Simmons, who growing up was a Boston hero and 30 for 30, ESPN, HBO, everywhere.
Absolutely.
So Simmons was the guy, and especially with basketball, like he has the basketball book, the basketball Bible, everything was Simmons growing up. And so the first time he came on the show, it was unannounced. We were a couple minutes into a show, and our producer was like, "Hey, there's someone in the waiting room." I was like, this is, what's going on? And Bill jumped on, and it was cool to actually talk to him in person on the show. So that's still to me kind of one of the few people I still kind of fanboy out to is Simmons.
Yeah, it's easy to fanboy out to Simmons, and we all know he's a big Boston guy like you are. But no matter what team you love, like we're Sixers fans.
I was wondering. Okay, so it is. I thought that's what I had seen. Man,
just get it out the way.
What a sorry dude, what is the deal? How do you have the most talented and simultaneously the most spineless star of all time, Embiid? Just tell the dude to show up in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's pretty much unfortunate injuries after injuries after injuries.
Always.
I mean, it's like it's a knee issue, and then all of a sudden you got Bell's palsy. Like, how does that even happen? And even with that said, he's still super talented.
Sure, dude, that team should challenge the Celtics next year in the East. Like, that's a crazy big three when they're healthy. Like, they won't, because he'll find a way to blow it.
And I think that roster is being constructed to contend against the Boston Celtics. They got a lot of wings.
I agree.
And the irony of it is, Mike, I'm sure you know this, several of your players, Tatum and Brown, Sixers could have drafted them. Sure. But instead we go with back-to-back number one picks that both forget how to shoot. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know, but it is what it is.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Simmons. I was trying to think. I was like, Mark, I know Fultz. Simmons was 16. That's right. Tatum year. Jalen's year.
Yep.
Oh, God. That's sad. Hey, but can I ask one more quick question?
Sure.
What's the deal with Michael Carter-Williams? That dude came in the Sixers, won Rookie of the Year, and it seemed like he was awesome and on a great path.
Well, I think the organization knew that he was a good player on a bad team. So everything was a little bit inflated when it comes to his stats and his play. They knew that, so they moved on for him pretty quick.
Yeah, man, that was the one weird one because he took off in the card world, and the next year he was, 0 to 0, so it was weird.
Okay. So he did have some value, at least in the card world. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. He had some hype that year. He was young. It was like, man, this kid might have a good future. So, yeah.
So speaking of individual cards, what is the one sports card you wish you owned today?
So Tom Brady has some big rookie stuff. I'm a big Brady fan. I've got some pretty expensive cards, but he's got some certain rookies that are either autographed and low numbered, or they're what they're called like a refractor. And some of those in a high grade are pretty valuable. So those are kind of some of my white whale cards.
Okay.
Yeah. So you followed Brady in Tampa.
Yep.
Look, there was always debate. Was it the system? Was it the player? We've seen what Brady can do without Belichick, and we've seen what Belichick is doing without Brady. So maybe it was a little more Brady. Would you agree with that?
I mean, 7's hard to compete with, man. That's at this point. I'm biased because I love the dude, but yeah, right. I don't. That to me is as locked up as Jordan or Gretzky at this point.
Yeah.
Did you like the roast?
You know what's shocking? Brady's one of the most boring people in the world. Normally, I was shocked by what he allowed and how funny it was. I actually was pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting how Brady, after football, he's everywhere. He's MGM Bet commercials. He's rent-a-car commercials. He's showing a little bit of acting chops, which I was a little impressed by, to be honest. So let me ask you, Mike, how would you describe how the sports card market works for someone who, say, is just getting into trying to be a collector or a seller?
Yeah, I mean, so in general, it's largely performance-based, which makes sense, right? You have somebody who comes in and plays great, like the stock market. Anthony Edwards this year was a good example of that. Edwards comes in, he was already selling for somewhat of a premium. Now he's a blue chip. He's a crazy, sky's the limit type thing. So there's like your blue chip based on performance. The other factor in sports cards is hype. And there is nothing... hype is the most powerful market mover, driver of the market of anything in sports cards. You've got people paying more money for Wembanyama cards than they would ever pay for a Tim Duncan card, which is, Duncan's a top, call him whatever you want. He's like a top 7-8 guy to me all time.
Right.
Wembanyama is probably nowhere near that when his career ends. Hopefully he is.
Right.
But you have guys that will speculate as well, kind of like the penny stocks. So it's almost like both mindsets from the stock market, like your blue chip, excellent players, safe investments, your all-time greats. And you've kind of got that penny stock type thinking of hey, I'm going to chase a Wembanyama and see if Wemby becomes the next to GOAT or whatever.
So you have a card of a player that comes into the league and kind of breaks out immediately. Would you value that low or would you value that high?
Yeah, so again, it's kind of twofold, right? So Zion, for example, 2019 is a perfect example of both. Zion comes in with all the hype in the world, doesn't play, but still is selling unbelievably high. First game comes in and puts up, he had something weird like 14, 17 points in like 9 minutes. So his high price exploded from there. Ja Morant, same guy in that draft. Actually, you know what? SGA is a better example. SGA comes in with no hype, very little hype, not selling anywhere, traded, early on. But now that he's performing, his stuff goes through the roof. So some guys, they've come in with the hype that will help sustain pricing. Other guys, they have to actually prove it on the court first.
Yeah, so going to what you were saying, quick story Uriah mentioned earlier. I got introduced into cards pretty early on. I'm 40 right now. So my uncle used to work at a Flair factory in Philadelphia.
Nice.
This was mid-'80s, late 80s. And he would give my other uncle, his brother, my younger uncle, Flair packs. Just boxes of cards. And my
man.
uncle was a little older than me, so he really didn't know the value of anything. So he opened up a box, and it was a Michael Jordan 86.
What?
It was the sticker.
Oh, okay.
It was the sticker 86, the 101. And he would just put the stickers on the wall.
Sure.
So for about, I want to say 25 years, there's this Michael Jordan Flair rookie on the wall, in the corner of the wall, just, mangled up, torn up, just a sticker.
Well,
And for years, he regretted that. I mean, he didn't know at the time. He didn't know. He was young. But for years, we would just see this Michael Jordan sticker. And the value that it is now, I'm not particularly sure what the value is. It goes up or down. But it's like what? What would you say, like $100,000?
well, so it depends, right? So everything is grade sensitive. So right now, like a PSA 10 of his regular rookie is still doing a couple $100,000. Yeah, the sticker, I'm not positive. The sticker is super hard to get as a 10 because the centering always stunk because they designed it to be peeled off like that. So, yeah, I mean, high five figures, I would think for sure. That's crazy. That box, though, was worth a ton of money. Honestly, if he just had the box intact, where he hadn't ripped any of the packs, huge cash there. People would chase the Jordans all day.
Yeah. So speaking of that, my question is, and you had a whole episode around this question, what would you consider the actual rookie Michael Jordan card? The 84 star or the 86 Flair?
There's no wrong answer, right? To me, it's the 86. Like, that's what I grew up on. I don't care that the other one was made before. Because the other thing, too, is, especially now, those were not, like, factory produced. They were handed out at games and, like, promo packs. So it's a great card. It's a lot more rare. If I could only have one going forward, I have the 86 Flair. I would take, if I could get the same grade star, even if it wasn't worth way, way more, which it is. The star's worth way more in the grade I have. I would take the star because of the rarity, because of the story behind it. But if you ask me, hey, what's Michael Jordan's rookie? 86 Flair. Like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. So to me, that's kind of what it is. It's such an iconic card. I'm not changing now just because, there's TikTok videos around, hey, star is awesome. And the star card's always been there. It's great. But yeah, to me, it'll always be the Flair card.
That's the one where he's got the ball out and he's like dunking one hand. Yeah,
that's right.
And you have that. What PSA rating is? So
that's it's graded by a company called Beckett. So BGS, it's a 9.5, which is their version of a gem mint.
Man. So speaking of grading, with our podcast, we don't talk a lot about cards. We focus on players and their background, stats, accolades, and all that. But for someone who listens to this episode and maybe they're interested in getting some of their cards graded, hopefully they're not stuck on the wall somewhere like Maurice's uncle.
Yeah.
But if you were to tell someone about the different grading companies that are out there, who would you consider some of the top grading companies for sports cards?
Yeah, so really there's three. There's SGC, there's PSA, and there's BGS. And so grading is just taking a card that you pull out of a pack, which is called, in that condition, is called raw. You send it to one of these companies, and they will examine it. What's the surface, the centering, the corners, the edges. They examine all these different factors and give it a grade between 1 and 10 or 1 and 9.5. Actually, those three all go up to 10. Gem mint is generally the your most desired grade. There's a couple that go a little higher than that, but the company we work with for the majority of our business, called SGC, they're down in Boca in Florida. They have a 1 through 10 grading scale. And yeah, it's a huge difference. Like that, even like that Jordan rookie. And SGC 10 is probably, at this point, I would think 80 to 100,000. I don't follow it too close, right. But a 9 is probably 10% of that. So there's a huge condition is everything.
Unbelievable. So the value can go up and down a little bit based off the grading card company, correct?
Yeah, so PSA, for example, retail-wise, generally sells the highest. SGC and BGS are pretty close after that.
Okay, and then Beckett would be below that.
Yeah, so Beckett is BGS. Beckett, same thing.
Okay.
BGS, SGC, kind of a 1A, 1B. So like Beckett, for example, their modern basketball probably outsells SGC by a little bit, but SGC with vintage baseball way outsells Beckett. So those two are kind of, 2A and 2B, but PSA in terms of resale is definitely number 1.
Okay. All right. So moving a little bit away from sports cards a little bit, let's talk about current NBA. What are your thoughts on the NBA free agency right now?
I tell you, yeah, as much as I insult Philly, I think that to me is the only move I've seen right now that potentially makes somebody a contender, right? Like if all things go right in Philly, I don't know how long he's that guy, but PG can still be that guy. Like I thought that was great. I've always thought Chris Paul was very overrated and does very little to control. I've never been a Chris Paul guy, but in San Antonio, I actually love that move. It's nice to have, Wemby has a veteran leader in the locker room with him. I think that's awesome. Where did DeRozan go? The Kings?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was weird. I like DeRozan. Does that help them, maybe win 2 games in the first round before they're knocked out? So some of the moves, it feels like a kind of, and I've been super happy with the Celtics. Honestly, the whole goal there was lock everybody up,
right.
Which somehow they've done. They'll pay for that later, but for now, yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the Celtics and Al Horford? Was Al Horford a spy for the Celtics when he's with the Sixers for one season? Because, no, there's something that he would do as a Sixer, Mike. Whenever he would make a mistake, you could watch the footage. He would, clap his hands he'd be like, man, I messed up. He never does that in Boston. He just does something, and every time he does that, that's like a signal.
I forgot about that year. It was only 1 year, right?
It was 1 year.
Yeah.
Was that after Atlanta and before Boston?
No. He went to Boston, and then the Sixers gave him a contract.
Oh, right. That's right. He came back then we got him back for nothing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, if he was, good on him. I was happy to see him get a ring. That was nice.
I was happy for him, too. I never had a problem with Al Horford. I love his play. I think he might be Hall of Fame. I don't know what you guys think.
You know what's crazy? It could only because it's the NBA. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. 2 championships in college. I bet that dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Florida, that's right.
Ooh, yes,
because again, you've got European dudes. They bring some guys up, so they kind of combine the stats. I would almost be shocked if he wasn't first ballot at this point.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And now, get ready for the NBA Now and Then Draft Time Machine.
All right, Mike. So all of our guests, when they come on, we talk about your show or whatever you're an expert in. But then before you go, we want to get your take on some of our episodes. So we're going to play a little game called NBA Draft Time Machine. We have two NBA stars from different eras, but they're in the same draft class, and they're projected to go first and second. Now, just for fun, if you were guaranteed that both players could have a decade-long career of equally good health, who would you pick? So we'll alternate back and forth. Some of the comparisons we took out because they're no-brainers, like we did a Kobe and Jimmy Butler comparison episode, and of course you're going to pick Kobe, right?
Sure.
So I'll go first. Remember, 10 years, forget health. They're both going to be equally healthy.
Are we going peak here? Just so I understand.
Yeah. Peak.
Okay. So 10 years at their peak, health non-issue.
Yep. All right. Okay. First one, Devin Booker or Gilbert Arenas?
Oh, man. I tell you, Agent Zero was a bad dude back in the day.
He was.
I don't think either one of those could be the number one. I would go Gilbert. I haven't seen Devin do it long enough, and Devin's had a lot of help. Gilbert was a bad dude, though.
Yes, he was.
I'd take Arenas.
Okay.
All right. Jason Williams or LaMelo Ball?
Jason. Yeah, I mean, I actually think LaMelo gets overlooked now because people dislike that family so much. His dad's so obnoxious. But yeah, Jason was... I would have loved to have seen Jason play 10 years later. That would have been phenomenal. Jason to me was one of the most fun guys to watch.
Yeah,
that Kings team won some series, so yeah, Jason.
And he got a ring along with Antoine Walker.
In Miami, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Was that the Shaq year?
Yes. Yeah, that's when D Wade turned into D Wade.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Very similar players. Draymond Green and Ron Artest, a.k.a. Metta World Peace.
Yeah, interesting. Draymond is crazy. I take Draymond. I think they're both super versatile. Draymond, as off the hook handle as he can be, he still knows when to be quiet for the team for the most part. Now he gets suspended the 1 year in the finals, but yeah, I think I'd give the edge to Draymond.
What? Penny Hardaway or SGA?
Penny. Dude, I think Penny's the most underrated ball player of all time. He is always my what if that never gets mentioned. We always talk Grant Hill and Derrick Rose. Dude, Penny was one of the baddest dudes in the league and could not stay. Yeah, Penny. There's very few people I would take over Penny at his peak for 10 years.
He was early on compared to Magic.
Yep. And he could score better at an earlier age.
Yeah.
I mean, Magic developed that game, but Penny could score early. Yeah, Penny, not even close.
Ironically, when we did our comparisons, I would agree with you, Mike. We did the comparisons. SGA was first team All NBA early in his career, but so was Penny. Penny was next to Michael Jordan as the top players in the entire league. So that tells you how good.
Yep, and that's a physical league back then, dude. Penny, no question.
All right, let's go with this one: Giannis and Shawn Kemp.
Giannis, so much more versatile. I like Kemp. Yeah, this was Giannis though, and defensively, he's a nightmare.
True that.
All right, Jamal Murray or Darren Williams?
Yeah, I like this one. Darren, I liked. He had some good years too. Had a solid team, and he played in that West that was brutal for years.
Yeah.
Jamal's got that wild it factor though. Like playoff Jamal is becoming a thing.
He's a riser in the playoff, yeah.
Yeah, man. I give the slight edge to Jamal, I guess. Yeah, just for the clutch factor.
Okay. All right. I'm very curious about this one. Very curious. I'm going to pause just for this.
It's Larry.
Luka?
Yeah, it's Larry.
You don't let me get it out.
No.
Okay.
No, it's just Larry. It's 3 straight MVPs. Basketball during competition was at its peak. He's the greatest passer I've ever seen. Well, Magic as well. I always give Magic his credit there. That's it. Larry is still to this day the most clutch player I've ever seen.
It doesn't matter who it was. I was going to say Luka Doncic just so people could know.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
You want to say Jordan's peak, of course. But Larry didn't have a 10-year run. It's the other thing. Larry won 3 rings and 3 MVPs and didn't have – that was it. He was done. Now, he had a great team, no question. But, yeah, I've never seen it. And if you said, hey, tomorrow, perfect health, game 7, you need somebody to win it, I'd take Larry or Jordan 1-1-A. If I needed one shot at the end, I would take Larry. Would make the same shot anybody else could make clutch, but he would also tell his defender what he was going to do first.
Yeah.
Just a bad dude. I wish he's another guy. What if he stayed healthy and played 13 years? I think that would have been a wild stretch.
Have you ever seen his Hall of Fame introduction?
Oh, yeah.
Induction. Like 2.5 minutes standing ovation. I was watching it for our preparation. I was like, they will not stop. They love Larry Bird up there.
Yeah, and like Jordan is the GOAT, right? No disputing that. But if you ask players now, like the 40, 50, 60-year-olds, it's always Magic and Larry were the GOATs before that. Like those two, and they could both do everything. Yeah,
right.
There's very few people. Those two, I'd take over them.
Fair.
Yeah, and that was a good point you made too. Larry Bird really didn't have. I think he had like a good 10-year run, and that was about it.
Yeah. Yep. And even then, injuries a couple times. Yeah, just not the health killed him. His back, his knees.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So this is a good one. Joel Embiid or Hakeem Olajuwon?
I know. It's interesting because you could make the case for Embiid. I mean, from what I've seen, you give me his MVP season. I've never seen him do it in the playoffs. That's the problem, right? There's no knock on the guy yet. He's still young enough where he could.
Yeah.
I know what Hakeem was going to do. And the other thing I would tell you, who's the best center in the league that plays as a center with Joel? I mean, it's Joker. And Joker he's not a center. He's almost more of a Bird type than a traditional center.
Yeah.
You talk about the dream. Greatest footwork of all time still.
Yeah.
You could argue the greatest defender in the history of basketball. 2 championships. And he played against Ewing, Robinson, Mutombo,
Shaq.
I mean, and even listening to Shaq talk about him, he's like, that was the one guy. He'd always say it. If I made a shot, he'd pat me on the butt. A good shot, and he'd just take off down the court on him. Hakeem is such a crazy underrated guy. I'd take that Hakeem stretch over just about any center.
Okay. Yeah. How about this one? Pistons Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving?
I mean, Magic and Michael will tell you he's the greatest point guard not named Magic. And Larry would say the same thing. So Isaiah was a great two-way player, clutch. I think Kyrie is the most talented player of all time.
Right.
I've never seen some of the stuff he does. Unbelievable. But he's also, although Isaiah's a whack job, on the court, he somehow kept it together. Kyrie's walking around with the flat earth and his, incense and all this other nonsense. When things get tough, I don't know where Kyrie is. And I don't know that Kyrie could ever be a number 1 on a championship team. He's a great number 2. Isaiah was the number one on a championship.
Yeah, Isaiah had to do a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
he had Adrian Dantley for a time. He had Mark Aguirre, but really,
Dumars,
he
too.
was.
Joe was great. Joe had.
Dumars.
I love Joe Dumars,
Yep,
but Isaiah
but-
was the heart and soul of that team.
Exactly. Isaiah was the guy. Kyrie hit the shot, but LeBron was the guy.
Right.
If they had won this year, again, Kyrie's great. That's Luka's team. I don't think Kyrie could ever be a number one on a championship. So close though, because he is unbelievable. But I'd go Isaiah.
Okay. Damian Lillard or Reggie Miller?
Man, I know. Dame is another what if guy. Like Dame Lillard is almost like he didn't get to that level, but like the Jim Kelly of the NBA. Like if he had just won one, the whole narrative changes because now it's like he's not Steph, but man, he was almost as talented and almost scored as much and never had any help. And the one year he does it, Reggie was a bad dude.
Yeah.
And those were some pretty pathetic teams. Like Rick Schmitz and Detlef Schrempf were not terrible, but
Took Jordan's team to a Game 7.
that's what I mean. With very little help. I mean that's Dale Davis getting major minutes in those final
Davis
games.
brothers,
Yeah, I mean, I think I go with Reggie because I probably could win more with Reggie. I've just never seen Dame win like that.
Okay. Yeah, and he's got a little more height too. Reggie's 6'7".
Yeah.
Dame is 6'2". So, all right, here we go. This is right up your alley. Two
Oh, boy.
Celtics. You got to pick one.
Bill Russell. Boom.
Jason Tatum or Paul Pierce. Who would you draft over who?
It's funny. I don't know why. The numbers go against me. Most rational thought goes against it. I think Tatum is overrated. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't say that to be fun. Like, I like him. I've been there since he started. But even this year, he led them in every category in the finals. But every time the Mavs made that run, it was Jalen who got the big stop and the big score. I can't knock him because he was unbelievable. I think Jalen is still the guy on the team, whereas I look at Pierce. Pierce made some deep runs in the playoffs, made a finals and lost two, won one, lost one. But they also had some other deep runs when it was him and Antoine Walker. Pierce is another guy kind of gets lost in that shuffle. I think I'd take Pierce.
Okay.
I think, yeah. And I thought Pierce was a great leader. I really did. I thought Pierce really rallied, even the 07 team. That was his team. Garnett was
tough.
right there with him, but that was his team. Yeah, I did.
He was tough as nails. And when I do the research and bio for our episode segments, and I remember reading how when he was a kid, he was riding the bench and he was really down on himself. And then something happened. They were getting blown out and the coach was like, come on in. He came in, he led them back. And that gave him this boost of confidence. And growing up in California, in that area, kind of rough area with gangs
Oakland,
and stuff, it's no wonder Pierce is such a really remarkable player, tough as nails.
And it's sad they would never allow it now, but I'm pretty sure it was Othello Harrington, however you say his first name. That Pistons game when he is just talking to him the whole time, dribbling, and then Pierce takes him to the elbow. Again, now they just give him technicals before because they're the game is a lot different.
Yeah,
but he was just that guy. He really was. And now he's a wacko. He's another guy thinks he's he'd tell you he's better than Dwayne Wade and better than all these other players. He's not, but he was for a time, man. He was a very good and very, very clutch. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying about Jaylen Brown, on our podcast, I do the teammates. And
okay.
So when you talk about the help Jason Tatum has had, they've been pretty much a contending team since he was drafted.
Yep.
So,
always had somebody. Had pretty good teammates.
He's always had really good help. Yeah. I can see why you would give the nod to Paul Pierce.
Yeah, and even this year, again, Tatum's the guy, but Drew Holiday, another ex-Philly guy, man, I think whenever he wants to be, Drew can be the best offensive player on the court, but he's smart enough to know that's not what he has to do. And then defensively, he's unbelievable. I mean, he is, that's a super talent. Derek White's kind of similar, just a little bit less, but man, they got a squad.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So, De'Aaron Fox or Nick Van Exel?
De'Aaron, to me, the size plays a factor. He could shoot a lot better. I think Fox has a more versatile offensive game.
Okay. This next comparison was, for whatever reason, one of our top in terms of numbers and downloads. I guess because we don't do big guys as much. But anyway, Rudy Gobert or Dikembe Mutombo?
Oh, Dikembe. Here's my problem with Gobert. He's terrible against good offense. He is like the Kevin Love on the defensive end of the court. You put Kevin Love out there, he'll put up 40 and 30 and lose by 60 points. Gobert, you get him in a high pick and roll, it's over. I think he's one of the most overrated defensive players in the league, which is wild because he's got. Was he have 4 defensive player of the years now?
He does.
First of all, how he won that over Wemby this year is insane to me. Statistically, not even close. Even the advanced metrics, I don't know what people voted on. But Gobert is that guy. He's great until he plays good competition, and he gets tore up. And it happened again this year. The Mavs ate him alive.
Yeah.
Dikembe, man, I mean, you were not finishing at the rim with Dikembe, and if you did, he was going to knock you out of the game for a month. I mean, he was physical. He could move, especially early in Denver too. He could move. Yeah, Dikembe to me was great and understood the floor. He was a super intelligent dude.
Agreed.
Yeah, it didn't look good for Rudy when he was benched. Pretty much the end of every fourth quarter. You
have to. It's like the Shaq treatment, but on the defensive end. He's a liability against good offense.
Yeah. All right, so this one was an interesting one, at least for me. James Harden or Allen Iverson?
AI. Yep, one.
That was quick. Okay.
Yeah. Harden's another guy. I don't think you could ever win a championship with him as your best player. I think if AI doesn't run into the Lakers, he probably has 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But okay, take championship contention out of it, and just the skill of a player. You still go Iverson?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, okay. I mean, again, Harden was great. AI to me was also a great teammate. I mean, look at some of the losers he played with who he made look pretty good at times. I've never seen Harden elevate other people's play. Iverson could do that. James is a much better shooter outside, but Iverson was great. I mean, his handle with the ball was unbelievable. And again, I have to give him the preference because it was hand checking back then. That's a game changer. Like, you get guys who can hand check a ball handler. It makes a huge difference. So, yeah, I just thought AI was special. He's another guy. You give him 3 or 4 more inches, and he's on that Kobe level.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, these 2 players, if you tried to hand check them, you'd be in for a big surprise. Paolo Banchero.
Oh, jeez.
Or Blake Griffin.
Yeah, unknown, right? Paolo, we haven't seen a bunch of. I think I'd take a shot with him.
Okay.
I know what I'm getting with Blake. Blake's another guy, couldn't really stretch the floor much. Unbelievable at the rim. Same thing, late game, you could hack Blake early on, especially, and I'd live with him at the free throw line. Yeah, especially young. I mean, Banchero's got kind of that it factor already. Not a great team in Orlando. I think I'd roll with him in that one.
Jalen Brunson or Chauncey Billups?
Yeah, that's tough. Jalen, I think, could be that 1 or 2 guy. Billups was never going to be the star of the team, but was it did everything. To start a team around, I guess Jalen. If I've got a team that's close, give me Chauncey. But yeah, if I'm starting the team, I would go Jalen. I think he's got a higher individual ceiling.
You think Jalen Brunson can be the number 1 on a championship team?
I think it could be the number 2.
Okay.
Number 1, maybe. I don't think like Chauncey could. Chauncey was was 1 and then 5 on those Pistons teams. There was nights he didn't have to do anything. Maybe he could have, but he didn't have to. Jalen, and I know Chauncey could not be the number 1, the standalone star.
Right.
I haven't seen Jalen be that guy yet, but he's also young, and he's on a pretty good freaking path to being there. So maybe. Yeah, I'd take the upside with Jalen.
And he has the right pieces surrounding him. 3 of his college teammates.
Yep. And they love him.
Awesome.
Those guys, the same thing. Couldn't wait to play with him again. Yeah. Pretty telling. Although Chauncey was a great teammate too. There's no knock on him, but the fact that people talk like that, it says something.
All right, our last comparison for you, Mike. We're looking at draft
Larry
classes.
Or Magic. Here it is.
Larry or No, we're saving that for the end. We're going to get your input from what comparisons you want. But it's tough because you're including all the players that are that stand out in these drafts. So we got the 84 draft and the 1996 draft. So obviously you have Jordan, you have Barkley, Hakeem, Stockton. 96.
Yep.
You got Kobe, AI. Who else is in 96? Steve Nash. Ray Allen.
Marcus Camby. Yeah.
So who would you go with, man?
Oh, 84. Yeah. Honestly, though, I think 03 is the other one. I think you could, it depends too. If I have to make a starting 5 or a starting 3, 86 is tough. But if you're telling me I could get Wade, Melo, LeBron, Melo was a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
not a winner, unfortunately, but Melo. I mean, those 3 might beat any other 3 from the draft class of all time. But Jordan, Hakeem, and Stockton, that's the most balanced. Like, you could do everything with that draft. So
That's a good point.
96, yeah, I mean, I love it. Kobe, Ray, and Iverson, somebody stretching the floor. Yeah.
That would
Yeah,
be fun.
84 to me.
So, a few more questions, then we'll let you go. This has been great, by the way. Having a great time. If you were to give us a comparison that you would love us to do, are there any comparisons that stand out to you?
Yeah, honestly, the one as a Celtics fan we always do, Larry and Kobe.
Okay.
It's tough now because it's so skewed. Now everybody just Kobe's legend grew after he passed. He was always great.
Yeah.
He was never 2 to Jordan. Kareem was always 2. I don't know when that's changed. Although LeBron, you could argue, but those 2. The other one, Duncan or Bill Russell, I think is a cool one. Super defensive guys, but also very good offensively, despite that not being your first thought. Point guards, same thing. The guy we just talked about, Stockton and Chris Paul. Chris Paul has somehow worked himself into that conversation. I don't think it's close, and especially the numbers. One guy's made 2 championships. However, nowadays, Chris Paul gets talked about like he's some point guard, which is wild to me. But I think that's an interesting one. And then Jerry West and Dwayne Wade.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll give you a sneak peek. Our first episode launching season 2 will be Dwayne Wade and Anthony Edwards, just because Edwards he's taking off, man. His star is on the rise.
Yeah, it is.
I love how he's talking smack in the Olympic team.
Love
He's
it.
like, I'm the number 1 guy. Offense goes through me. I'm like, okay.
And you know what? He might be right. You go down that roster, I don't know. And I tell you what, dude, Cooper Flagg. Anthony Davis is a great defender. That kid is, I don't know if he's even 18 yet and going at him. That's wild.
There's teams tanking already for him.
If he doesn't go number 1, I don't know what that GM's thinking of. That guy has to go number 1 when he comes out. All right, so Mike, this is your chance to kind of plug anything you got coming up, any projects or events that you want to let us know about.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast will keep rolling on. I've started branching out, building my own stuff up a little bit too. The one kind of side project I've been working on, I have to find the format, whether it's just written with like our newsletter, or we have another little deal coming up, or if it's going to be like a visual series. It's a hobby redraft. Everybody does the redraft, who would you take? Same style, but based on their hobby value. So Jordan is now number 1 in 84, and Hakeem's number, whatever. Just kind of going back through. I think it'd be kind of a fun look back. So that's kind of one of the series I've been trying to get the logistics down and find out what would actually work and be compelling.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. We definitely want to support that and see how that comes to fruition. And the last thing, Mike, tell us where we can find you, man. What are your socials? Put it out there.
Yeah, just sports cards nonsense. Everybody always forgets the S. You got it right on the intro, by the way, Uriah. I appreciate that.
Well, that's because Maurice set me straight. I was like, is it sports cards or sports cards?
Yeah, sports cards nonsense anywhere. The podcast, the socials, it's all the same name across the board, so you can find it pretty much anywhere these days.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Maurice, you got anything you want to say to Mike before we step off?
First of all, I just want to say thank you, Mike, for joining us, giving us your time. We really appreciate it. If I ever come across a card, I'm gonna shoot it through you first.
That's right. Yeah, don't put it on the wall, man. Keep it off the wall.
Do not stick it to the wall.
That's right. Hey, keep it. I mean it. I'm very, very critical of content because this is my living, and it has been for a while. I like that you guys have something different here. There's so much of the cookie cutter crap. Who's your top 10? I don't need any more top 10 freaking lists, and I don't need any more podcasts about it. But the whole comparison through the years type stuff I thought was pretty. It's the only reason I agreed to come on because we get a lot of requests. But this one actually looked. I was like, no, I like that you guys take a different angle. So kudos on the unique take. It's pretty. You guys got something cool going.
Dude, that means a lot. And the whole idea of this, the team that we all have our own segments. And like you're saying, like it comes a dime a dozen guys debating. And I think fan bases need that. They need to vent their frustrations. But like you were saying, we want to give fans a chance to kind of take a break from that. And we want to celebrate these players, man. These players aren't perfect, but you can have a debate without putting another player down and lifting someone up or calling players plumbers in their heyday. So that means a lot. Appreciate that, Mike.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right. This has been an awesome episode. Please make sure that you follow Mike. You listen to his podcast. They're more than entertaining. They're informative. They're engaging. They're hot stuff, and their numbers don't lie, like I said earlier. On behalf of Maurice and I, this is Uriah with NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons, where we compare NBA stars past to present.